Let's do
Very
it.
good. You can hear my 3-year-old in the background, actually, which I think is appropriate for Wall Street's foray into digital assets. Yeah, emailed ahead of time, and I think we all kind of concurred that one of the best places to start here would be the question of, wow, now getting all kinds of stuff, do it later. All right, the question of where Wall Street currently is at to begin with in terms of its foray into digital assets. I guess maybe before we do that, if we have to do introductions, sorry, I'm a little scrambled. Tron, why don't you go ahead and regale everyone with your life with Ravencoin?
Sure, yeah. So I started in crypto in 2013. I worked for T0 for a while. I work for Medici Ventures now. It's a venture firm that has a bunch of portfolio companies. And as part of that, I was able to help build Ravencoin. And so that's what I'm currently doing, lead dev for Ravencoin. There's a small team, large community out there. And it's a platform for, it's like Bitcoin in that it has its own cryptocurrency, but that you can all create its own, familiar with Counterparty or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And Bradley, I think probably did an intro earlier today, but for anybody who wasn't here.
Yeah, so I'm a YouTuber. I have a show called Investment Perspectives, and I also just recently went into post-production with a documentary on cryptocurrency called Cryptonaires, and I'm very excited about it. Many people. Tron, I wish we had the opportunity to get you in it.
Excellent. And
there's still time.
Sorry, missed the intro. My last because nobody can
The
hear me.
The sequel.
I'm Josh Lawler. I'm an attorney in securities law and intellectual property, and particularly focused on distributed ledger technology from pretty much all aspects. Currently also focusing on a side project that's targeted towards bringing kind of a wider and easier pathway to compliant capital raising using tokenized assets and specifically income sharing agreements. So, I think in terms of the Wall Street foray into crypto, I think it's a giant case right now of they love to be foraying, they try to be foraying, and they're not quite able to quite foray yet. I think, as far as what they've tried to do thus far, obviously you've got the regulatory challenges, historically, I think we put ourselves in a very bad position through kind of unfortunate abuse of the Main Street investor, which has now made it harder than it needs to be by far. Tron, Ravencoin is an asset trading platform. So, how do you see kind of distributed ledger technology kind of fitting into the transfer of digital value, I guess is the way to put it, and how that might hit the mainstream in terms of institutional money?
Yeah, so what I've seen is a split between kind of the low end and high end. There's things like T0, and they want larger issuances, and then there's people that are $100 million that say, well, we're not going to take the risk on doing this via a digital platform. And I prefer the kind of entering from the lower side, so like the Reg CF exemption or the Reg A plus and things like that. So because the digital technology brings the bar down so low and tracks things so well that you can drop it down so that you can invest $5, $10, $100 and not start out with issuance of you have to start in with $20,000, $100,000, $1 million. So that's what I see as the efficiencies bringing it down. And then some of the laws I think are adapting a little bit. The accredited they're talking about, or at least doing comments on, moving from accredited where it's a wealth-based test to an education-based test. And then also increasing the Reg CF exemption from $1,070,000 up to $5 million, also under comment. So those are things that I think kind of move it in the right direction, kind of bringing it up from the bottom instead of down from the top.
But I think, you really kind of hit it on the Reg CF increase to 5 million because, you can't really get too much done at $1,070,000, but you really can at 5 million. But that then, raises another specter, which is the money's been raised and, there are people out there who are holding, widely distributed assets, I'll call them for now. But the folks who issue those assets are not necessarily as reliable to keep up their end of the deal in terms of, reporting publicly information that facilitates trading and things of that nature, to a point where, if they're treated as securities, there's an Exchange Act problem in terms of anybody making a market with them.
Yeah,
That's
no, I agree. I mean,
the
that's
question, I guess. Yeah. All right. All right.
This is Adam. Can I?
Please go ahead, Adam. I can't see you on here, but
Okay. Sorry. So I had to call in on the phone again, but where I come from is I'm actually a financial advisor. I have a registered investment advisory in Texas, and when you talk about Wall Street, you can, again, as I said, talk about the institutional investors, you can talk about hedge funds, whatever you want, or are you talking about Main Street? And when you think about the ethos of crypto and all that, it's meant for Main Street, right? It's meant for kind of the lower income earners, the everyman, and not the investors. So whereas, a couple of years ago, we all wanted Wall Street to come in, and that meant institutions coming in and buying Bitcoin because we wanted the price to go up. Now it's okay. We want adoption. We want everyone using this. So how do we do it? And we're working on educating financial advisors and educating bankers, because we feel like that's that intermediate step that if they get it and they're on board, then their clients are going to be on board. So the foray so far from Wall Street has been more of, in my mind, has been more of institutions, whether or not they should get in. And now it's you have companies like Fidelity and Schwab and such looking to, to custody assets. You have Caitlin Long's bank out in Wyoming looking to custody digital assets. So now you're going to start getting more small businesses and individuals involved, and that will be very different, very fun. Going to take a whole bunch of education, which I'm counting on because we've just launched the education.